Previously on the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Meet Tony Stark. He's got lots of money, daddy issues, and incredible facial hair. Stark is captured by terrorists and secretly builds the Mark I Iron Man suit while in captivity, powered by the sweet arc reactor in his chest.
My turn.
The villain in this one? Obadiah Stane, aka the Ironmonger, played by a bald Jeff Bridges. What's his villain trope? Well, it's a double event, surprise bad guy and evil business guy.
You really think that just because you have an idea, it belongs to you?
Anyway, 3 important things come out of this. Tony switches his company from developing weapons to basically only building Iron Man suits. He demonstrates a tendency towards TMI.
I am Iron Man.
And he meets this tall drink of water.
Who the hell are you?
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Okay, what do you need to know about the Incredible Hulk? Well, know that Bruce Banner is the Hulk, and know that you will not see these faces in this video anymore.
Basically, we can't use any of this.
Hey everybody, remember Mickey Rourke's comeback? In Iron Man 2, Tony gets hammered, Sam Rockwell plays an evil business guy named Justin Hammer, and the end credit scene shows a hammer. Iron Man 2 does introduce 2 very important characters, super spy Black Widow and War Machine, a suit of armor donned by Tony's friend Rhodey. Meet Thor, an impossibly handsome Australian Norse god who gets banished to Earth. He does have a ne'er-do-well younger brother named Loki. Oh, you wouldn't like Loki. He's a bad seed. So the internet's boyfriend sends the destroyer to Earth to kill his sort of brother Thor. Thor wins.
So is this how you normally look?
More or less.
It's a good look.
The film ends with Loki floating off into the void, never to be seen ever again. So Chris Evans plays this guy Johnny Storm, whose sister Sue plays... Okay, hang on. Okay, Chris Evans plays Steve Rogers. He's a 90-pound weakling who wants to enlist during World War II. And when the U.S. military notices how good he is at speaking in motivational catchphrases...
I can do this all day.
He's given an upgrade, a costume, and a squad of comrades that includes his best friend Bucky Barnes, who's always willing to go out on a limb for the team. Meanwhile, Infinity Stone alert. This is the Tesseract. First discovered by the Nazi organization Hydra, it's an ancient cube packed with immense power. The Red Skull, played by Hugo Weaving, is really bad at using the Tesseract. He gets transported 15 films into the future. Steve crashes a plane into the Arctic where he's frozen for 70 years until he wakes up in a nightmarish urban dystopia, early 21st century America. So your boy Loki is making deals with an alien race called the Chitauri to retrieve the Tesseract. He uses his scepter, which, Infinity Stone alert, has the Mind Stone in it. And he's controlling a bunch of people that include Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, whose superpower is that he is real good at shooting a bow and arrow. Loki and the Chitauri army attack New York City, but the Avengers assemble, and through the power of this one shot, they defeat the Chitauri. But only after Iron Man almost sacrifices himself and gets a glimpse of the darkness to come. Also, Loki visits an unlicensed chiropractor. Oh, and look who pops up there at the end. Previously on the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe.
My diagnosis is that you've experienced a severe anxiety attack.
Me?
Iron Man 3, Tony overcomes his PTSD with a little help from his friends. We get a fake-out bad guy called the Mandarin, played by Ben Kingsley.
Hi, Trevor Sledger.
This is the Mandarin?
I know, it's embarrassing.
Tony defeats an evil business guy, played by Guy Pearce. And he gets his arc reactor removed. Plus, here's all the Iron Mens. Well, let's see. Infinity Stone alert, we get the Reality Stone.
Where is the ether?
I'll never tell you.
Thor's mother gets murdered.
You helped me escape Asgard and I will grant it to you. Vengeance.
When do we start?
Loki and Thor team up. And Thor saves the day. Or does he? It's a tale of two BFFs for Captain America. One is the Falcon, who's got wings. The second is Steve's buddy for life, Bucky, who we learn didn't die back in World War II, but was instead brainwashed and turned into the covert assassin known as the Winter Soldier, who was very well armed. We also find out that S.H.I.E.L.D. official Robert Redford is an evil government business guy, a surprise bad guy, and an agent of Hydra.
Makes me really, really angry.
Also part of Hydra, hey now, it's Senator Larry Sanders! Nick Fury fakes his death to escape Hydra, but he ends up killing Robert Redford, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is thrown into disarray. And Captain America desperately tries to wake Bucky up from his programming.
With you to the end of the line.
Not this movie, Cap. The Guardians are a ragtag team of low-level criminals that meet and slowly start to become friends while on the hunt for a mysterious orb. You got Drax, a former world heavyweight champion. Groot, who is Groot. Rocket, the least cute raccoon ever. Gamora, who's got some serious daddy issues. And Star-Lord, aka Andy Dwyer, who has your slacker uncle's music tastes.
Bring it down hard!
Oh, and Benicio del Toro is there in his finest performance yet. The bad guy is Ronan, hired by Thanos to obtain the fourth Infinity Stone, the Power Stone, which has power. Ronan double-crosses Thanos, which is just so Ronan.
Thanos, I'm coming for you.
The Guardians defeat Ronan, they deliver the stone to the Nova Corps on planet Xandar, where it's totally safe and nothing bad will ever happen off-screen. Ex-con ice cream artist Scott Lang steals a shrinking supersuit created by scientist and former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent Dr. Hank Pym.
I need you to be the Ant-Man.
Now, Scott just wants to spend more time with his daughter. Hank wants Scott to help him stop Corey Lewandowski, evil business guy, from abusing and profiting off his Pym particle technology. Hope wants a supersuit. Luis just wants to recap what we've learned so far.
No doubt. Okay, so I'm at this art museum with my cousin Ignacio, right?
Scott pulls off the heist, defeats the villain, goes subatomic, becomes quantumly entangled with Dr. Pym's missing wife Janet, more on her later, and accidentally auditions to be an Avenger, all before dinner time. Meet Tony's artificial intelligence, Ultron, an entity who's only ever watched James Spader films.
What is this? What is this, please?
Meet the Vision, an android powered by the Mind Stone taken from Loki's scepter.
I'm not Jarvis, I am.
Meet Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, two characters that aren't mutants, even though they are. It's a whole thing. Meet Sokovia. Goodbye, Sokovia. Goodbye, Ultron. Goodbye, Quicksilver. Hello, Phase 3.
Someone has been playing an intricate game and has made pawns of us. Once all these pieces are in position...
That's the endgame.
Previously on the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, Phase 3. Captain America, Civil War. Nothing much happens in this one, other than the Winter Soldier is framed for murdering the King of Wakanda. The world realizes that superheroes are cool, but they kind of are killing normal people.
Underoos!
Sony figures out what to do with Spider-Man. We get an all-out Avengers throwdown at the most dramatic location possible, a German airport.
I'm trying to keep you from tearing the Avengers apart.
You did that when you signed.
Tony and Steve aren't friends anymore. Half the team either goes into exile or superhero jail, and we meet the most successful superhero of all time, Doctor Strange. Dr. Stephen Strange is a gifted surgeon and a real piece of work whose hands get wrecked in a car accident. Stephen heads east to try and heal his hands and winds up in a place called Kamar Taj, where he learns about the astral plane and magic stuff. We learn that Earth is protected from interdimensional threats via special vape shops called Sanctums, conveniently located in 3 of the 4 most expensive rental markets in the world, New York City, London, and Hong Kong. No love for San Francisco, though. Stephen becomes a sorcerer and gets some really cool swag, namely an adorable cloak of levitation and the Eye of Agamotto, which contains, Infinity Stone alert, the Time Stone, which he can use to adjust time.
This is time. endless looped time.
Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2. Meanwhile, in space. Groot's a little kid, Rocket is committing grand larceny, and Star-Lord discovers that he's the son of an entire planet who's got, and is, a big ego.
And I'm your dad, Peter.
That also means that Chris Pratt is half Celestial, but don't worry about what that means. Turns out Kurt Russell is the surprise bad guy. The Guardians destroy Ego, but at the cost of Star-Lord's surrogate father, Yondu. It's very Freudian. Meanwhile, the post-credits tease the coming arrival of Adam Warlock, which could be relevant in the future unless it's not. Spider-Man Homecoming. It's the third version of Spider-Man in 10 years, so you know the drill. Power, responsibility, etc. But this Spider-Man has Marissa Tomei playing an elderly aunt. It has a Batman playing a bad man. And a rich benefactor buys him cool clothes.
I'd rather just stay on the ground for a little while.
Black Panther. T'Challa is a cross between a superhero and James Bond, but also a head of state. He's the new king of Wakanda, a hidden country that's generally better at basically everything thanks to a special metal called vibranium. His American cousin and the villain of the piece is named Eric Killmonger, of the Boston Killmongers, of course. He's a man whose superpower is making everyone go, yeah, he's actually got a point. The result, T'Challa opens Wakanda up to the outside world, he de-brainwashes the Winter Soldier, and generates an instant icon. Thor Ragnarok. Hela, Thor and Loki's long-lost sister, appears in the wake of Odin's death and takes over Asgard while banishing Thor and Loki into space to die. Thor winds up on the planet Sakaar. Do you like gladiator films? The Grandmaster sure does. Thor and Hulk reunite, they meet Valkyrie, and they escape to Asgard, where Thor loses an eye. Loki kind of turns good, maybe? It's tough to know. He's reunited with the Tesseract, though. Finally, Ragnarok happens, and goodbye, Asgard. But it's okay, because the Asgardians, they're safe and sound, they all got on this ship where nothing bad is going to happen off-screen.
He's coming.
Who?
Avengers Infinity War. Are you familiar? It's a simple story, that of a man who sacrifices everything for a dream. A man who overcomes the skepticism and negativism of the doubters, all for the noble pursuit of his productive achievements. No, I'm not talking about Zack Snyder. I'm talking about Thanos, the Snapmaker. Listen, a lot happens. Here's how it winds up. Loki, dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Definitely not getting a TV show.
No resurrections this time.
Doctor Strange does some Doctor Strangin' and tells Tony he's only got one shot in 14 million-ish to resolve the crisis. Thanos combines the Infinity Stones, and by those powers combined,
Captain Planet, he's our hero, gonna take pollution down to zero.
And then, poof, half the universe does a solid impression of Theodore Donald Karabatsos, including Nick Fury, who manages to still use his one lifeline. That leaves wacky roommates Tony and Nebula stuck together on the planet Titan. Captain America, Black Widow, Bruce Banner, War Machine, Rocket Raccoon, and Thor, they're all still on Earth, and they're being total bummers. And we actually don't see what Hawkeye is up to, but he's retired, so we can presume he's just chilling out. Everything's fine. No problems or worries on his side.
Now, baby, let's ride.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. So where was Ant-Man during Infinity War? Well, we flash back a bit. Scott's been living under house arrest since Civil War and is days away from getting his ankle bracelet taken off. Hope Van Dyne finally gets to don her mom's hand-me-down supersuit as the shrinking, flying, and blasting superhero called the Wasp. Hank and Hope ask Scott to help them find the long-lost Janet Van Dyne, who's been stuck in the quantum realm since the 80s and has still got it. Meanwhile, there's a new bad guy called the Ghost, who's the rare, not really bad, yet you just kind of feel bad for her supervillain. Scott gets Michelle Pfeiffer on the brain, gets really big, and the Ant Squad cures the Ghost. Then, in the end credits, Scott dives in to explore the quantum realm, and in truly terrible timing, Thanos' snap crackles and pops his pals into oblivion, stranding Ant-Man in the quantum realm where he's never seen again.
Bring me up, let's go.
Captain Marvel. Flashback to the 1990s when You could get in trouble at Blockbuster Video for making a scene in their lobby. Carol Danvers is a member of the Kree alien race who's helping to fight against the dreaded Skrull army. Except she's not. She's actually a human test pilot who's lost her memories, but also absorbed some crazy huge powers from an explosion thanks to actual Kree Annette Bening. We learn what a de-aged Samuel L. Jackson looks like, and that Nick Fury has an affinity for cats. Also, we find out where the Tesseract was between Captain America, the First Avenger, and the first Avengers film. And it's kind of gross.
Let's go get this son of a bitch.
And for gosh sake, watch your language. Anyway, this is Avengers Endgame. Picking up not long after Infinity War left off, we open on a pastoral farm scene where Clint Barton and his family... Folks, please stop crying. They're not real people. Anyway, even though it was a 50-50 shot, Hawkeye's entire family vanishes in front of him, which Quora.com tells me has a 3.125% chance of happening, so Clint needs to start playing some video poker, you know? The surviving Avengers go after Thanos, who's an organic farmer now, and Thanos is like, LOL, and Thor is like, bam.
Oh, for that.
Okay, it's 5 years later. No, wait, okay, excuse me. It's
5 years later.
And unless you're Tony Stark or the Hulk, everything sucks now, except for the traffic. Cap is doing grief counseling, Captain Marvel is far, far away at the end of the movie, Natasha's the boss of a raccoon and her hair color is just all over the place. Hawkeye's got a mohawk and he's just all bad vibes right now, and Thor looks like he spent 5 years in 2020. But everything changes because of a rat. Now, the MCU doesn't have a rat problem, they have a rat solution. Brings Ant-Man back. And then some other stuff happens, and all the survivors pair up in conveniently meshing groups to retrace the greatest hits of the MCU, all with one goal: reunite the Infinity Stones. It's a lot like The Dance, Fleetwood Mac's 1997 reunion tour. And so, they get them rocks. Cap cops an eyeful, Hulk gets hit with Tilda Swinton's finisher, Thor steals from himself, Loki scores a show on Disney+, Tony snags some sterling gold advice, and Natasha, she takes one for the team.
Do we know if she had family? Yeah, us.
Unfortunately, just like old Biff, another Thanos follows the team back to the future, and just like old Biff, he's a real piece of work. But the Avengers have the gems, and so Hulk wears the gauntlet, does the snap thing, and then finally, after seemingly the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe shows up, except for the characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Netflix shows, even though we were told those would count, we finally get to hear Captain America say the line we've been craving. One simple phrase that sums everything up.
Avengers!
That is America's ass.
Meanwhile, Doctor Strange reminds Iron Man that you only get one shot, do not miss your chance to blow.
Iron Man.
And then Iron Man dies, and it's sad. We still got some loose threads to tie off, namely these rocks and the hammer Thor stole from himself. Now, Steve Rogers is going to return all these misplaced objects, including one big misplaced object, himself. That's right, Steve finally does something for himself. He goes back in time and he stays. What does he do in the meantime? I think he pulls an old Biff and plays the ponies, but that's just me. Anyway, he's old now. Now he hands the shield off to Sam and very specifically doesn't say, "This belongs in a museum." And with that, it's a wrap on the first Avengers lineup. They're even nice enough to sign autographs at the end, undiscovered country style. But we're not done with Phase 3 just yet. It's time for the epilogue.
I mean, I'm just a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, sir.
Bitch, please, you've been to space.
Spider-Man: Far From Home. So Peter and Co have been gone for 5 years, so it's the perfect time for a field trip. Peter inherits a pair of glasses from Tony Stark, giving him access to an enhanced version of Siri that actually functions.
EDITH stands for Even Dead, I'm the Hero. Tony loved his acronyms.
But he's in Europe with his best pal and the girl of his dreams, and who do you inevitably meet while traveling through Europe? Jake Gyllenhaal, pretending to be a superhero named Mysterio from an alternate universe where a superhero called Mysterio could be cool. Now, Jake's a former Stark employee and he's using special effects to make it seem like he's got superpowers. His main goal is to get access to those glasses of Peter's. Say, hey Siri, mute ringer. And yes, use that technology to make people think he's a superhero. Except he dies. But not before setting Peter up for the biggest double whammy cliffhanger Marvel's done so far, co-starring the Farmer's Insurance guy.
Here's the real blockbuster. Brace yourselves, you might want to sit down.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker. What the
And with that, we're done with the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe up till now. I thought the TV shows didn't count. Okay, alright, well... Alright, TV shows. I'll avoid spoilers. WandaVision. It's like the Dick Van Dyke Show, except if Rob had been dead for 5 years and Laura was basically the same. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. AKA too many caps. Look, it's like my man Winston always said. If somebody tells you you're Captain America, you say yes. Also, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is briefly in it, and her character's not named Selena Meyer, but I don't think it's too late to make that canon. And despite being dead, Loki has a show now. And it looks... Is it like a... It's like a Quantum Leap? Is it like a Quantum Leap? I hear Owen Wilson's in it. I gotta be honest, I let Disney Plus lapse.